Okay, so here we have a word problem. Akio drove 232 miles in 4 hours. At this rate, how far could she drive in 7 hours? What is her rate of speed in miles per hour? So really this is asking us two questions, right? The first part of the question, let's call this part A, is asking us how far could she drive in 7 hours? And the second part of the question, let's call this part B, is what is her rate of speed in miles per hour? And this is actually going to be a unit rate. So we're going to have to solve kind of two different problems in this one problem. All right, so let's get started. Well, when I see this 232 miles in 4 hours, sounds like a rate. And remember that a rate is just a type of ratio that compares two different units. So in this case, we are actually comparing miles to hours. So let's take that and let's solve for, I'm actually going to switch this up and solve for part B first. I'm going to find the unit rate because once I have the unit rate, it's going to be really easy for me to find out how far she drives in 7 hours, okay? So we are going to set up, let's do, I'm going to do a double number line for this problem. Actually, no, let's do proportions. So we are going to set up 232 miles. I'm going to write my words first. 2 hours. So there's my rate. And the first I'm setting up is 232 miles. And she drives that far in 4 hours. Now, if I want to know what is her rate of speed in miles per hour, hour, singular, there's only one, right? So how far can she drive in 1 hour? What is this missing amount? And we're going to use a variable, the letter x, to represent this missing amount. It just means that we don't know what that amount is. All right, so now let's do the 7th grade thing, and we are going to cross multiply and divide. So when I cross multiply, all that means is I multiply from top to bottom. 4 times x is equal to, multiply the other way, 232 times 1. Let's simplify this a little bit. 4 times x we can rewrite as being 4x, and that's going to be equal to 232 times 1, 232. So now we've actually written an algebraic equation, and we are going to want to solve for x. So we want to get the x all by itself. So let's think. If we are multiplying 4 times x, and we want to do the inverse or the opposite, right? We want to undo this. Well, if what I'm doing is multiplying, then the opposite, what I need to do to undo it, is going to be to divide. That's the inverse operation. So I'm going to divide both numbers by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, which is going to give me just x, and x is equal to, let's move off to the side so we don't clutter our work. We are going to set up 232, divide by 4. 4 goes into 23 5 times. Bring down my 2. 4 goes into 32 8 times. No remainders, which means that x is equal to 58. So that tells us that in 1 hour, Akio can drive 58 miles. So this is what we call our unit rate, right? Because she can drive 58 miles in 1 hour. So that means this x up here we now know is equal to 58. All right, so now it's going to be pretty easy for us to figure out how far could she drive in 7 hours. You could set up another proportion and set x over 7, right? But something else we can do is actually to take our unit rate, which we know is 58 miles in 1 hour, And we want to know how far does she drive in 7 hours. So let's set up a new proportion. We are going to set up 58. And remember to use your labels. Over 1 equal to x over 7. Now I could cross multiply and divide, but something else cool that we can do with proportions is we can look for patterns in the numbers. So 1 goes into 7 an even amount of times, right? 1 times 7 will give me 7. So whatever I'm doing to the bottom, I need to do to the top because these are equivalent rates. So I'm going to just do 58 times 7. Going to move off to the side so my work stays neat. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 5 is going to be 40. Which means that in 7 hours, Akio can drive 406 miles. So there we go. Now we have our two answers. In 1 hour, she'll drive 58 miles, and she'll drive 406 miles in 7 hours. Hope you enjoyed. If this was helpful to you, please subscribe for more math videos or give me a thumbs up or a comment. Thanks and have a great day.